Jenson Button is at the top. Great weekend out last week over Piro in terms of that head-to-head at Indy, but it was Fernando Alonso, which we'll talk about, that was ultimately the class of the field. But Jenson has a chance to wrap up his second title for the Legends, which is pretty impressive, you have to say.
He's been good. I mean, he's absolutely on fire.
Well, I think he's actually standing by to speak to you right now, so we can discuss that. Jenson, you've been the class of the field, but I'm going to throw you under the bus because the first time I spoke to you was way back in 2017, and you were a bit hesitant about all this sim stuff. Has you changed your mind now that you're winning everything?
Well, there's no real racing, so I'm gonna love it. Hey, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun, and I think racing with these guys makes it extra fun. You know, people that I've raced against in F1. In other categories, but also people that I've always, wanted to race against from different decades, sort of almost half a century ago. So it's really cool to race against so much talent, and obviously this is all fun for us. We're really enjoying it, but there's a serious element as well. You wanna do well, but no, sim racing has gone pretty crazy lately, and I'm pretty happy to be a part of that because there's so much talent in racing drivers, but also you see how good some of these sim drivers are. It's unreal how consistent they are. I'm doing the Le Mans 24 Hours, and the guys that I'm with are just so fast. You're chasing them the whole time, but it's definitely a different way of driving. But all the same, it's still got a throttle, it's got a brake, it's got a steering wheel, and you're fine tuning yourself the whole time.
Amazing. Well, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much, Jenson. Best of luck today. We're going to send it to a break, and we'll get back into the action in just a second. The Race All-Stars Series, powered by Rocket Phones, gets straight into everyone's favorites, and it is, of course, the Legends Trophy. They're on track for qualifying already. Jenson Button is the man to watch in terms of the championship, but maybe Alonso's come to terms with the Brabham, and maybe he can find his way around in a sorted fashion. It's all straight into the action as Jenson's already on track.
Yeah, well, I think Alonso's had a bit more run-up time ahead of this one, hasn't he? So we'll see what he can do with a bit more practice, a bit more time at the wheel. Can he challenge this man, Jenson Button, who, am I right in saying never won at Silverstone, Jolyon? In the British Grand Prix, I don't think he ever managed to win that one, unfortunately for him.
He never did he? Did he? When did he get on the podium at Silverstone?
Was it 2004 in the BAR? Because it was rapid that year. I think he might have qualified on the front row, actually.
Oh, I remember Silverstone was the one where in his Brawn year where he failed to get on the podium, didn't he? And he was winning everything up until that point, pretty much, and then got to Silverstone with the big summer furore in the UK, and had one of the more disappointing races of the season, I think. But he should know the place pretty well, regardless. And he knows these cars pretty well. He's been very quick in them so far.
So here is Button coming through the right-hander, and now to start the timing beam because they're running the classic circuit here. So Button's time starts now coming into Copse Corner. We'll see the one difference on the circuit. It's down at Vale as he goes out wide at Copse and then into Maggots and Beckett's.
This is where the cars should look spectacular through. Slight drift through the first part of Maggot. Fairly neat through the left and then the right. And that actually looked quite neat and tidy for Jenson Button. These cars tend to want to oversteer like mad when you throw them into the corners with any speed. But Jenson trying to keep super smooth, as was his way in Formula One. Steering wheel as well, and no, very little modulation, to be honest, on the steering wheel through Stowe Corner. And now we come to the new chicane, the Vale old school quick left flick, and then into this right that brings us onto the regular track again.
Into the right-hander at Vale. Now into the loop section. We'll get all the lap times in a few moments when they come across the line. Petter Solberg is flying. I think he's going faster than Button. Solberg across the line. He's the first driver to set the lap time on a 1 minute 50.519. Here comes Button, and he's a couple of tenths away in Sector 1. Solberg has really impressed me throughout this Legends Trophy, I have to say.
He's been great. He's done a great lap. He's ahead of Montoya and Pirro and those two guys have been pretty quick. And he's neck and neck with Jenson Button then through the final corner. What can Button do? Still the time's super close.
Button across the line, and his pole. Wow, what a lap from Jenson Button. He goes 6/10 clear of Petter Solberg. Magnussen is half a second adrift, but Alonso's gone purple in Sector 1. Here comes Tom Coronel. Through the right-hander and out onto the timing line now. Coronel goes 13th. What can Alonso do? I think he's up in the middle sector as well. There is the two-time world champion down in the bottom left. Alonso to the line.
Lap here.
Button on provisional pole. Alonso goes quicker by 6/10. What a huge lap from Fernando Alonso to take pole position for the Legends Trophy.
Do you think he's done some practice?
Fernando Alonso starts on pole position, 0.6 of a second ahead of Jenson Button, with Jan Magnussen in third spot, Petter Solberg in fourth, Juan Pablo Montoya fifth, Brabham sixth, Pirro seventh, Liuzzi eighth, ninth Servia, and 10th for Mika Salo. Wow, what the top two are in a class of their own. Well, they're in two of their own classes, aren't they, pretty much?
Yeah, the A class, the B class, and then everyone else in a very tight C class. But first of all, Button's final sector was huge. That really lifted him clear of Solberg and co. Alonso's lap then after that was just up in every sector, probably nearly every corner. And what pace he's unlocked there. Ran a long lap, putting it all together. Last time he drove these cars, he was pretty quick, but very erratic. I'm just so sure he's been dialing in a lot in the last couple of weeks, certainly the last week. And he's put it all together spectacularly there.
So the first Legends Trophy race about to get underway. It is Fernando Alonso starting on pole position. Jenson Button alongside him on the front row of the grid. Button looking to wrap up the championship title if he can beat Emanuele Pirro in this one. Pirro, who had a bit of a difficult qualifying session, not up on the front two rows of the grid. Jan Magnussen and Petter Solberg are in there instead. Dario Franchitti struggled in qualifying, down in 19th place. 8 laps of the Silverstone circuit about to get underway. Alonso pole, Button in second. His main title rival Pirro starts in 7th place as we wait for the lights and the charge down towards Copse Corner. This is on board with Button in the top right. Here we go. The Legends Trophy is underway. Good start from Button. Alonso away nice and clean. Immediately sweeps across in front of Button. That was so close. Button to the outside at Copse. But Alonso gets the drive through and already has 3 or 4 car lengths over Button. Magnussen is in third place. Solberg is 4th. Montoya 5th. Pirro, Brabham, Herta, Servia and Papis. The rest of the top 10. So Pirro has gained a place at the start.
Alonso setting his intentions out straight away within meters of the line, just chopping aggressively the front of Jenson Button, but luckily Button just about didn't have an overlap and didn't have a big contact before even getting to turn 1. But Alonso super aggressive, and he's still got the lead then. Jenson Button still second, and now Solberg with Magnussen battling for 3rd and 4th.
On board here with Petter Solberg in 4th spot. Trying to get past Magnussen. You can see how much these legends have to work at the wheel. Montoya's off, Solberg out, and then Pirro up into 4th. So that has all unfolded pretty nicely for Emanuele Pirro. Oh, not anymore, he's up on 2 wheels. And Solberg can't believe what's happened. He's rejoining the circuit straight in front of Dario Franchitti. But Alonso serenely out in front. Magnussen 3rd, Servia 4th. Pirro, I thought it had all opened up for him. Then he got wiped out down at the Vale. It was chaos.
Solberg went rally crossing through Abbey, turn 1, fighting oversteered grass tracking, and then came on and went far too deep into turn 3, wiped out Pirro and a few others. And Solberg himself, now down in 8th place, is really benefited. The top 3 though, Alonso, Button, Magnussen, probably the 3 quickest on balance over the season. Certainly Button and Magnussen, and Alonso since he's been in the series. And now a 1, 2 and 3 out front with a nice 53.5 second gap. Back to
So there is Pirro, tucked in behind the light blue of Herta, and just in front of the dark blue of Juan Pablo Montoya. We're on board with Jason Plato, who's climbed up into 11th place, trying to get past Tom Coronel. And unorthodox there. Oh, Coronel slides and gets wiped out by, I think it was Castroneves. 3 wide here, meanwhile. Oh, Montoya in front. Herta gets through as well, and Pirro drops behind both of them now. Down to Vale. And this is the part where the track is different. They come through the quick left-right flick at the chicane. Oh, where is Herta going? Montoya's up in the 5th.
Herta drove really nicely at Stowe to get back in front of Montoya on the exit. And now Pirro's going to come back through on the inside at Abbey. And Herta then at the front of that pack a few corners ago has just gone to the back of that particular battle into 7th. And again, nearly rear-ended the back of Emanuele Pirro in the same corner as Solberg did a lap ago. But nice racing between the 3 of them, and in the end, Montoya coming out on top. But for 5th place now, big gaps opening up in front. Montoya's got 3 seconds to find to Serbia, and then 6 seconds to Magnussen in 3rd place. There's a long way to go after that lap 1 carnage.
Fernando Alonso leading the way. Button in 2nd, 2 seconds adrift. Then it's another 1.6 seconds back to Jan Magnussen in 3rd. Serbia, Montoya, Pirro, Herta, Solberg, Turner, Plato. The rest of the top 10 at the moment. Here's a look at the replay of just Herta running wide, but cool shot nevertheless.
Yeah, nice drift. That was these cars. They do look good in slow-mo, don't they? When drifting, that time a little bit too wide for Brian Herta. But generally the standard of driving has got so good for these guys as well. They're all getting better with every week, and they're able to now slide these cars on the limit fairly routinely. And earlier on, I mean, it seems a while ago that all the races were just chaos with spins as often as good corners. Now, the level of professionalism is really, really high, not least from this man, Fernando Alonso, 3.5 seconds up on Jenson Button, 3 seconds up, and marching away. He's taken the level up again, it seems. Alonso
into Abbey. Through the left at Farm and then down towards the village loop. You see obviously the camera slightly in front of the game pictures. Jenson Button now comes through in 2nd place. Jan Magnussen really closing in. They're lapping about the same pace, Button and Magnussen, but Alonso is pulling away up at the front. Serbia 4th, Montoya 5th. We're on board with Mario Dominguez in the top right. And here's Jan Magnussen in 3rd spot. You see him down in the bottom left. Darren Turner trying to make a move here on Herta now. Looks to the inside and gets through. Or does he? Not quite, they're still side by side. And out onto the start-finish straight again. Yellow flag in sector 1, so maybe some of the front runners have had a bit of a moment. We'll keep an eye out on that one. Turner finally, though, makes the move for 8th position. Good driving from the 2 of them. Herta's falling backwards a little bit, but really nice attempted defence there on Darren Turner. Herta now dropping further and further back from the back of the Englishman. But yeah, lovely driving between the 2. Clean. That's what you want to see. Another yellow in sector 1, so someone is having some moments there, but we haven't seen it, and so far, clean action. Side by side with Plato and Antonio Liuzzi fighting over 9th position. Down towards Vale. Liuzzi doing well to keep ahead of Plato. Has climbed up the order quite well, because I think he started quite far back. Here's a replay of Liuzzi getting past Plato then. I think the other way around.
Around the outside into Stowe, and really it just came from the exit of Beckett. Good run and just clean around the outside. Nothing that Jason could do there in terms of defence. It's quite a quick corner and you can't charge in too quick. You'll probably just loop the car with the oversteer that they've inherently got. So nice move from Liuzzi up into 9th, but Plato's still in the top 10. You spoke to him just before the race and he didn't think he had much pace, but a top 10 is pretty solid going.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's still behind Liuzzi, but I'm pretty satisfied with that, I would have thought. Lap 5 of 8 now, with Alonso leading 4.3 seconds ahead of Button. His pace advantage is huge here, Fernando Alonso.
I wonder how much Jensen's enjoying this race right now, because he's so used to being the class of this field in the Legends races in general, the non-reverse grid races. If he's not winning, he's having huge fights with the likes of Emanuele Pirro or Jan Magnussen. And you always feel like Button's got better pace, but he's not able to find the way through, and the others have been driving really well. Suddenly, Alonso, after his thrills and spills in Zandvoort, has knuckled down to this so well, and he's now pretty much 5 seconds clear on lap 5. I mean, this is some performance.
Yeah, amazing stuff, especially after the Indianapolis outings last week. Herta in 12th. Dario Franchitti's got up to 11th. I believe he had a drive-through penalty for some reason in qualifying, so that's why he wasn't able to put in a representative lap time. So he's down in 11th spot, but having climbed up from the back of the field. As we see Herta in the bottom. Oh no, just as I say that, Franchitti's in the wall in a very strange place.
I only saw where he ended up there. Did he go? He just went straight on at the old Vale chicane. Backwards.
Lap 5 of 8. Franchitti out. Alonso about to start his next lap. Magnussen closing in a bit on Button. As they come across the line, the gap is down to 1 second. So Magnussen's doing a good job, but neither of them can match Alonso out in front still. And I think we might have just lost Oriol Serbia, so that promotes Montoya up into 4th, Pirro up into 5th.
Magnussen's doing a good job. We're watching here in 3rd place, really keeping good tabs on Jenson Button just ahead. Without Fernando Alonso, you'd say this was shaping up to be a really good race at the front. It's just a shame that Alonso was checked out from everyone. But Magnussen, as has been the case so many times, is really trying to take the fight to Jenson Button at the front of this field. He's one that I just really think should have been in championship contention. But the amount of kind of needless reverse grid incidents that he's had have just cost him loads and loads of points. But he's been quick throughout, and he's right there with Button again.
So if it finishes like this, Magnussen will still just about be keeping the championship fight alive. So it won't be wrapped up for Button if it remains. And to be honest, anything can happen in the reverse grid race. As we see Montoya now ahead of Pirro. But you're right. If we do more Legends stuff over the next couple of weeks as well, it'll be nice to see everybody like starting from the start, if you know what I mean.
No.
You know what I mean.
What? Alonso joining from the beginning?
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's starting from the start. No, you're right. I think clearly Fernando's come in, and do you think he ever turns up to anything without a burning desire to not only win, but just try and demolish and really show the best of what he can do? I mean, he's the most ruthless competitor that I think I ever raced against, and he's turned up to this sim racing, and week 1 sure. He was involved in some incidents, and you thought, will that demotivate him? How stuck in will he get? Bounced back last week with a double win at Indy, and now he's come back and he's taken it on again. He's even quicker. At Indy, he was fighting. He didn't qualify at the front, and he was in a race-long battle with Jensen. Here, he's not really given anyone a sniff, apart from suddenly Button's right on the back of him.
There's Montoya in 4th place. Pirro right behind. Penultimate lap of the race.
Alonso must have just gone off or something.
Yeah, you're right. Because he must have just made a mistake. But I think he's still got quite a big advantage, actually. I've just seen them up at out of the sort of the corner of my eye, and it still looks like. Let's have a look. What happened to it?
So we're into the. He's gone walkies. He's forgot what track he's on. He didn't turn into the old chicane. Bit of a brainwave or lack of brainwave for Fernando Alonso, and he didn't turn left on the track. He just went straight, trying to do the old track, and then realised when he saw the cones blocking the way. But well, that'll cost you a few seconds, Fernando.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's one chicane you are allowed to cut. Get it?
He's good at cutting the chicane. Oh no, wait, that was me.
Alonso leading, a second and a half ahead of Jenson Button. Magnussen in 3rd spot, Montoya 4th, Pirro 5th, Papis and Castroneves battling over 11th place. As Alonso now is on the final lap of the race. Castroneves there in 11th spot. And it looks as though this is actually going to wrap up Jenson Button the title if it finishes like this. We thought it would keep the title fight alive for the final race, but I don't think it's going to. Fernando Alonso nearly called him across the line to win, but of course we are using the old pits, so he's got half a lap to go.
Wonder if he remembered that. Start slowing down before the end. Caught a few drivers out in the past, but he seems to have regathered his focus suddenly, and now he is just a couple of corners away from an entirely dominant win. But as you say, Jenson Button will be happy with this. Pretty unopposed. Jan Magnussen's done a great job to just stay within a second of him, but Button over the series has been dominant. Over the race, this has been spectacular from Alonso.
Going to be a 3rd win in a row in the Legends Trophy for Fernando Alonso. What a performance from the Spaniard. He is now coming out across the line, and Fernando Alonso takes the win in the first Legends Trophy race at Silverstone. A dominating drive, but Button across the line in 2nd place wins the Legends Trophy Championship. Wins money for the charity of his choice after such a strong season. Here's Jason Plato running in 10th place, so it looks like he's going to hold on to his top 10 finish. After we spoke to him before the race, he wasn't feeling particularly confident, but looking a little bit better now as Plato comes out of the final corner, as he has done so many times in touring cars and Formula 3 cars. And this time he finishes in 10th place coming through Woodcote. But it's Alonso on pole and the winner. Button in 2nd, Magnussen 3rd, and that makes Jenson Button the provisional champion with $25,000 to go to the charity of his choice. But Fernando Alonso, I mean, wow. And a really, really strong performance from the Spaniard, and I think we can speak to him now. Fernando, you performed really well on the ovals last week. We weren't sure how it would be on the racetracks because with Zandvoort it wasn't amazing, but here today was unbelievable.
Yeah, well, Zandvoort, I had the rig like 12 hours before the race, so yeah, and it was a little bit of a mess, and the car is tricky and difficult to drive for the first time. And yeah, obviously Silverstone, I know very well the track, and that was an advantage as well for this weekend.
You know the different track though, which we saw at one point down at Vale.
Yes, I was looking at the distance and a little bit the race behind me. I know that Magnussen and Jenson were fighting. I was watching the delta time between them. So yeah, automatically I forgot the new layout and I went for my normal F1 layout.
Oh, well, congratulations. A great win, Fernando. Well done.
Cheers. See you later.
Well, the Race All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phone reaches its final race. Our championships have been decided, but we're still going to look at the results and how Jenson Button was able to do so before we have a little fun for our finale. There is the points table, Jack.
Well, I guess there's second place up for grabs, isn't there? Pirro and Magnussen going right together. Solberg there in fourth place, considering he hasn't really been involved since the very start. He's done really well. Montoya in fifth. Turner, Salo, Brabham, Liuzzi and Franchitti completing the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship. So, yeah, I think the Pirro-Magnussen fight is going to be the one to keep an eye on for second position. That'll be a bit of fun.
Well, we're going to get into the race very, very shortly. Alonso, by my math, has 150 points based on those 3 wins. So pretty remarkable that he's that close, but all to do from the back. Julian, it's Silverstone. Maybe a chance if you can remember which way he's going this time.
Yeah, I don't think he can afford any more of that. But I think he's got a great chance here because his pace was just that good that, he obliterated even Jenson Button in that last race, who we all have seen carve through the field. So it's a track where you can overtake. He's got a chance.
It's Jason Plato who is going to be starting on pole position, though, for this reverse grid race as we get ready for the start of the final race in the Race All-Star Series, powered by Rocket Phones. And what a way to finish with a reverse grid Legends Trophy race around Silverstone. Pirro starting in 13th, Petter Solberg in 16th position. Brabham there in 14th. Then we got the trio at the back, Magnussen, Button and Fernando Alonso. Plato on pole. 8 laps of racing about to get underway. Really looking forward to see how this one unfolds, and hopefully it'll be a fitting finale to the season. Plato on pole, Jourdain alongside him on the front row of the grid. Final race of the year. Off we go. Good start from Plato. A little bit slow from Jourdain. Franchitti gets tucked into third place as they swing into turn 1. We're on board with Alonso in the top right as someone comes across him and wipes out, but Alonso keeps going and he's already up into 11th place. Button is in 16th place. Jourdain's in the lead. Franchitti in second spot.
Plato never lined up on the grid. From pole position, He was never there. It was Jourdain on the inside who's taken the lead unopposed. Franchitti in second and Alonso's 9th, looking for 8th already.
Here he comes. Going to the outside into Stowe. Liuzzi disappears in front of him. It's like I don't know if you saw on the Race's YouTube channel, they put up an onboard of Alonso in IndyCar, and you ride on board with him, and it's like you're watching a video game. He just drives past everyone. I mean, you are watching a video game also, but it's just unbelievable. Look, he's going to be 5th by the end of the first lap here. He's on the back of Mika Salo. Not quite.
And I know that these races are filled with chaos, but I don't think it's a coincidence that in 2 races from the back, Alonso has carved his way very, very quickly to a race-winning position. This was always a skill even when I was racing him and he was in the McLaren that was struggling with the Honda engine and, it was all going badly for him. You would always find him in the race, charging, positioning his car in the perfect places and manage to drag something out of it. And right now, he's in 4th place from the very back in just over a lap.
Amazing stuff from Fernando Alonso. Jourdain leading, Franchitti second, half a second behind. Alonso's up into 4th place. Tom Coronel is in 3rd at the moment. We're on board with Dario Franchitti up in the top right. Button's only up to 13th place as Mario Dominguez runs wide. Papis
And that was the difference in Indy. In Indy, the reverse grid, the non-reverse grid, Alonso and Button went toe-to-toe the entire distance, and they were clearly the class of the field. The reverse grid, Alonso carved his way through the field better than Button in the opening lap or two, and he broke away, and that's exactly the same now. Alonso goes through shot, and Button's 6 cars further back.
Here they come, down towards Stowe again. Lap 2 of 8. There we see Herta on board. Turner spinning. On board with Juan Pablo Montoya now as he runs a little bit wide. Through the Vale chicane. And out over past the wing. And down towards Abbey again. So Jourdain's still leading, only 3 tenths ahead of Franchitti. Alonso is right with Coronel, if not ahead of Coronel. And there he is ahead of Coronel. So Alonso up into 3rd.
Through at turn 3, then he was super close through 1 and 2, and then just slid underneath Tom Coronel through the apex of turn 3, and now he's just got the 2 in front who are fighting for the lead. Franchitti pulls to the inside, and that's looking like it might happen.
This is how Alonso did it going up into Village. Got the inside line, and that was a straightforward pass really on Tom Coronel.
Coronel not really making that too hard. Now what's happened at the front of the race, we shall wait with bated breath. But Franchitti then still 1/10 behind Jourdain. Didn't make it through, but now has another look on the inside at Copse, and he doesn't make it through either. It's at that time. But look at Alonso now, just 3rd, and homing in on these 2. They're squabbling, and that's not going to help their cause.
So Alonso charging forward. Franchitti will know that Alonso is on his way. He'll see it on his heads-up display as he comes charging now down the Hangar Straight. On board with Franchitti. Whoa, hits the back of Jourdain, almost loses it. And is that Alonso's chance? He's going to be right on the back of Franchitti as they come out over past the wing again. Lap 3 of 8. Alonso closing still. Oh, Franchitti goes in a bit deep into Village. On board with Alonso. Gets the cutback, gets the drive, and gets 2nd place. Now can he close in on Jourdain? It's like he's playing a different game.
He's so quick, isn't he? He needs to be doing the old track on the regular. That would add another couple of seconds to his lap times, and then he'd be on an even playing field. I mean, he's so quick. And he just seems to have grip, where Franchitti's scrabbling around with oversteer, understeer, washing wide. Alonso's just neatly on the right part of the track and going very, very quickly with it. Just 1 second now behind Jourdain. And you just kind of know this is going to be a matter of time before he hits the front. Meanwhile, Jenson Button still 8th. Jan Magnussen's done a good job to be up in 6th.
Yeah, he has actually. Salo has just got in front of him. Button now gets in front of Magnussen as well. So I wonder if Magnussen has made a little bit of a mistake out there somewhere to suddenly be dropping down the order quite so much. But here comes Jourdain. Well, more to the point, here comes Alonso closing in. On board with Button as he makes a place on Mika Salo and up into 6th position. Here's Alonso though. It's a matter of time, isn't it? Surely just a matter of time.
Turn 3. Through, well, the new turn 3, I should say, but through the old, I'm getting confused. The new 1 and 2 into the new 3 Village corner. And he didn't really close in too much there, but now the loop. Franchitti might have a little nibble back if Alonso doesn't get this one right on Jourdain. This is his chance then. Down down the Wellington straight towards Brooklands. Franchitti has gone AWOL on the exit of that one.
Alonso right on the back. Franchitti is still there. Oh, Jourdain! Alonso hits Jourdain! And Franchitti gets up the inside and into the lead of the race. Well, I think Jourdain was the one who made the mistake there, but Alonso nudged the back of him. Franchitti took advantage now, and they're battling for the race lead. Who'd have thought? Franchitti versus Alonso.
Jourdain's carrying on in third then, but he went a bit wide, and Alonso, I think, caught himself out by just suddenly having a big closing speed in the apex of the corner, just tapping the back of Jourdain and sending him into a spin. That allowed Franchitti through on the inside. I think Alonso was busy watching Jourdain, and here we go then, the replay of it. So Jourdain is tighter in, and then, yeah, maybe Alonso was trying to go just around the outside, and Jourdain just sort of slowly was trying to pick up the car. And Alonso, I think, just misjudged Jourdain coming across and just tapped the back of him.
On board with Alonso as we come out towards Abbey once more. Jenson Button's up into 5th place, trying to pass Oriol Servia. But now we will see Alonso versus Franchitti. Franchitti started at the front, or towards the front of the reverse grid. Alonso started at the back. He's trying to close in on the Scot, who's done something that Alonso's never done. Won the Indianapolis 500 3 times, in fact, for Franchitti.
And he's commentated with Jack Nicholls.
Well, and Fernando Alonso, and he dreams of that.
You reckon?
I don't know. No. I think I'm quite fun to commentate with. I think he'd be okay. I think he'd be up to it.
No.
Jolyon, I think your line's cut out. Button up the inside of Servia. Up in the 4th place. And now closing in on Jourdain. Coming through Pop's corner. And is this going to be the moment for Fernando Alonso to get Franchitti? Surely not into Maggots and Beckett's. He's trying to set him up though, isn't he, for a run down the Hangar Straight. Little bit of a mistake for Alonso, and that allows Franchitti in the Big Machine Bobcat car to pull away a little bit more. We're live on ESPN at the moment in the States, and they're collaborating with DoSomething.org, which is an organisation for young people and social change on a sports-themed campaign for athletes, sports fans and graduating seniors called the ESPN #OneTeam Challenge. Over 34,000 young people have signed up to participate in the One Team Challenge to date. And you can join DoSomething.org's #OneTeam Challenge to go to the website or text esports to 38383. So thank you to the Do Something Challenge. This is the fight, though, for the lead. Dario Franchitti leading it at the moment. Goes a bit wide. Alonso's going to try and get the cut back here. Franchitti keeps it neat and tidy, but I don't know if he can hold this off for the rest of the race. Alonso's got a great run. Franchitti holds his line. Alonso pulls out, down into Brooklands, side by side for the lead, and Alonso's into the lead of the Legends Trophy. Gets ahead of Dario Franchitti into Brooklands, and now the move has been made. Button, meanwhile, has got him into 3rd place.
Nice move in the end from Fernando Alonso. I think that was a long time coming. He just had better pace, and in the end managed to make a nice clean pass on Franchitti. Here's the start then. That's Jenson Button ahead. Let's see where Alonso passes Button, and Button actually had a better start, went through the middle, and then Alonso's just going to carry more speed around the outside, off the track. Nice little ding-dong, and he's found another couple of places, but a trademark Alonso around the outside start, that was.
Yeah, vintage stuff from Fernando Alonso. As he then picked up a couple more places. I dare say we might have all of his overtakes on the race's YouTube channel this week. If we weren't planning on it, then there's a task for the editors. Into Stowe, then Pirro and Liuzzi got together. And everybody just seemed to disappear. Max Papis parted ways.
He's just on top of the machinery, isn't he? He knows the limit of traction mainly, which is where everyone else seems to be struggling a little bit more. But then braking as well. And then when everyone else is flailing around trying to find the edge of grip, he's just breathing through. Frankitti's still with him though. Still within a second, Dario, out front with a lap and a bit to go.
Tenths of a second between them. This is Mika Salo and David Brabham fighting over 7th spot. And Salo's going to get a run here. You can see him talking or something on the left-hand side as they come down the Wellington Straight again. Oh, Solberg thought about it. Solberg hasn't quite been at the races today, I feel, considering how strong he's been recently.
He qualified well earlier on, didn't he? But then he got in the walls on the first lap and binned off Pirro, and since then he's been stuck in that midfield battle. But yeah, he's been making progress in the championship every week. Was pole position at Indy last time, and today a little bit underwhelming maybe.
This was how Button got past Jourdain and up into 3rd place.
Nice and easy on the inside. Oh, and then Jourdain had a bit of a moment and lost it on his own then through the exit of Brooklyn, and left Button to that 3rd place.
Alonso's on the final lap. He's pulled away now from Dario Franchitti. Juan Pablo Montoya in 5th place. He's trying to pass Oriol Servia for 4th position. But Alonso, he's won the last 4 Legends Trophy races. It's absolutely mad.
Do you think he didn't like the crash compilation from Zandvoort? He watched it back and thought, you know, I can do better than this. And he has, fairly distinctly.
Yeah, there's not going to be any from this one, are there? Final lap of the race. Here is Fernando Alonso into the stadium section at Silverstone, around Luffield. 4 out of 4 ain't bad. Fernando Alonso wins again in the Legends Trophy at the Race All-Star Series, powered by Rocket Phones. 3 seconds ahead of Dario Franchitti after an 8-lap race and starting at the back of the grid. And what happened to Button? Montoya's going to finish 3rd. There's Button suddenly in the fight with Magnussen and Pirro. So Button dropped well down on the final lap, and he's going to finish in 12th spot. He's still the champion, and he still takes the championship. The No Kid Hungry charity is the one Jenson has chosen to donate the $25,000 US to. Fernando Alonso doing donuts there on the right-hand side after his double victory. So Alonso, Franchitti, Montoya, the top 3 in that race. And here's a replay of what happened to Button, Jolien, on the final lap.
Right, so we're coming into Abbey.
No, he thinks the race is finished. No? I feel like he's eased off.
But he's ticking along enough, and he's still got a gap at this point, so he's doing okay. And then is he going to stop, or what's going to happen here then?
I feel like he's... I don't know, I just felt like he was cruising there, look. I think he's cruising.
Yeah, now he's basically stopping. And then he realises that he's falling down places, but he doesn't accelerate again all the way down this straight.
Until Pirro and Magnussen go past.
He's limping home.
Unless he's waiting to finish with Pirro and Magnussen or something.
Who knows?
Because he's still moving out of the way here. Magnussen and Pirro go through. And then he gets back on with it.
Bizarre.
Wow. There we go. Not sure what that was about, but Jenson Button finishing in 12th place in the second race. Fernando Alonso takes the win. Dario Franchitti in second, with Juan Pablo Montoya in third. Servia and Jourdain completing the top 5. Brabham, Salo, Solberg, Liuzzi and Jan Magnussen, the rest of the top 10. And that is the end of the Legends Trophy season. But we'll be back next week with a new iteration of the Race All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phone. So make sure you join us for that. But the Legends Trophy has been great, but someone's got to sort out Alonso. I wonder whether it is just so much of sim racing, and Matt will know this, is time. You know, there's a strength for a real world racer like you, Palmer, where you get to learn a track like that. And the quicker you learn a track, the better you are. You know, as a fundamental driver. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but it's the same in sim racing, but you can spend hours. So if you can spend hours perfecting and getting quicker and quicker, you will end up being faster, you know? And I think that's what we're seeing with Alonso, and the other legends might have to do a bit more practice, basically.
Yeah, and credit to the All-In Sports Sim setup. Obviously, it gives him tremendous feel. I think maybe the solution is going to have to be to give him a GP2 engine, Jack, because that might level the playing field. We'll have to wait and see.
Agreed. Throw to the break.
Well, lots to talk about from the entire season, but at the end of the day, Jenson Button finished too soon. I think he was confused. Alonso may have had the wrong chicane picked out, but Jenson had the wrong start-finish line. Thankfully, he'd already crossed the line as champion in the previous race, because that could have been a very costly error, Julian.
I don't know if it was that. The way that he slowed down and let everyone, I think letting Pirro and Magnussen through, and then he floored it. And he was too quick through the hairpins before as well. So I don't know what it was, but maybe there was contact earlier on and he didn't want to finish ahead of those guys or something like that. But sportsmanship, I would say, was at the heart of Button slowing down rather than a brain fade.
Yeah, I think there's some suggestion that him and Pirro had a bump earlier on, and so he was handing that place back, I believe. But hopefully we'll be speaking to Jenson in a couple of minutes' time and we can get it to you officially. But he is the champion. We have all our champions crowned. What a great finale day this has been. I've really enjoyed it. It's really felt like a title deciding day with all the chaos, who's got to finish where, big calculators. Loved it. Yeah,
very exciting for me. The teams championship and the pro Cup, that whole battle all the way through was remarkably exciting. And then the first sim race between Bono and Jurni Simontic was just phenomenal to watch. That was some class driving. Outside, around the outside passes, DRS, lots of testing in the brakes, battling around other cars at times. I thought that was a very, very respectable drive from both of those guys. A little bit of contact as well that they survived through, which was a bit tense. I think, Julian, you mentioned it. If that was real life, that would have been a hairy moment.
It would have been a controversial moment, that's for sure. For me, that Pro Cup finale, Nicky team on the final lap through all the chaos, just getting into the top 10 to win the driver's title and thus give Aston Martin the team's title as well. What drama. That was best race of the day for me.
And it was the way he was in that top 10, then he was out of the top 10, then he was back in it, and then someone crashed, and then, yeah, great stuff.
It was poetic.
Poor Gutierrez was sitting there probably sweating it inside of his sim rig. There's no question about it, because poor guy didn't even get to take a chance at winning it, and yet nearly still did. So we could see him on the cell phone. I'm sure he was preparing the tweet immediately to let everyone know what happened. Bit unfortunate, but great showing from him throughout the season. Definitely had the pace, and maybe we'll get a chance to see more from him in season 3. We'll tell you all about that in just a sec. Welcome back to the Race All-Star Esports Battle. It's the end of the season. We've got lots to talk about, lots to reflect on, maybe something to look forward to. But first, we need to chat with our champion from the Legends Trophy, Jenson Button, and maybe, Jack, you can find out what was going on that last lap.
Yeah, Jenson, congratulations. First of all, the champion of the Legends Trophy. A superb achievement.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun the last month. Also driving two cars, with the Brabham and also the IndyCar. That was pretty awesome. So really enjoyable. This circuit, I did struggle to get the car working a bit with the long corners and the understeer in the car. But even so, first race was still pretty good. And that last race, I got spun round at turn 1. So I was basically last after turn 1. Fought my way through, and I came up behind Emmanuel Pirot at turn 1, and he had a car in front of him that braked early, so I ended up hitting Pirot at the bottom, spinning him round. So that's why I slowed down on the last lap. I thought it's only fair to give him the position back.
Oh, okay, good sportsmanship. We love it. And the charity, the $25,000 US, do you know where that's going?
Yes, it's going to be going. First of all, thank you very much for donating. It's going to be going to No Kid Hungry. Millions of kids around the world don't have a meal when they go to school, and they don't have a meal when they come home from school. So especially with the pandemic, there isn't school at the moment. So I think it's a very important charity to donate to.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for choosing them, and congratulations on the win. But Fernando's got a bit of pace, hasn't he?
He has, and the important thing, the first race he was just quick, and that's why he won. But this one, it was staying out of trouble. And normally when I was fighting for the champs, you take it a bit easier on lap 1. But this one, I just hammered it and got it wrong in turn 1. But it was absolute mayhem. But he fought through the traffic, and to be fair, then when Jan had an incident and Pirot. It was made a lot easier. But Dario gave him a good run through his muddy. It's really good to see. Dario had an issue in the first race, and second race was strong. So, no, really good. But, Fernando's definitely got this car sorted. He's learned how to drive with the amount of understeer in it.
Okay, thanks for joining us, Jenson. Congratulations.
Cheers, guys.